Hey guys, guys, and morons. Um, I told this is the person I bought as you'll see the title or the name on the phone, Scion previous owner. This is a Russian lady. She's married, has 4 kids, and this was their car. Uh, I think that they had when they got married to tote the kids around in, and then as they grew as a family, the car just got too small to have all the kids because the kids were getting bigger. But her husband ended up buying a badass Dodge truck. He's a cool guy. She's a cool lady. I told him that I would get back to them as we went through stages in the car because they weren't sure at the time what we were doing. I mean, they were from Russia. um, Actually, I think they were from Ukraine. Was it Ukraine? It might have been Ukrainian. One of the two. I can't remember. I think it was Ukrainian. Was it Ukrainian? One of the two. It doesn't matter to me. All Russia's not bad. I mean, the people in Russia don't even want Vladimir Putin to even do this shit he's doing. But anyway, I let them know yesterday. I sent them some videos of the car banging and stuff and the inside and all. And this was their reply, which tells you, and I'm going to get into why I'm doing this. I'm so happy that you are enjoying this car. Love to hear good feedback. I bet you'll make way more money on it than you put into it. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And basically I said we certainly have enjoyed it. Thank you guys for the car. It's treated us very well. We're going to do the outside soon and make it pretty. Guys, I'll tell you what we paid for this car. I paid $4,500 for that car. It had 100,000 miles on it. Has good tires on it. I've not changed the tires or nothing. I haven't even changed the brakes. The brakes were new when we got it. The only thing I put before we sent it off for the build for the enclosure portion of it was I had changed the struts. They were just wore out. They were leaking. There has been no suspension changes on that car at all. Just that. I can do an airbag assist in the back for $100 that you airbag it up, and it's called a spring assist, and you don't have to take the car apart to do it. Yeah, you just stick them in and pump it up. Kind of like sex. For like Hugh Hefner, stick it in, pump it up. Anyway, back when he was living, I think he had him a pump in there. But $4,500. The reason we got it at $4,500, it was a salvage title. I knew the car had been wrecked. They were up front with me and told me it had been wrecked. They wanted $6,000 for it, and I told them what it was for, and my son was with me, and I said, I brought a certain amount of money because I don't want to spend it so much because I know what I'm going to do to it. It's basically going to get destroyed and stuff. And it's like destroyed, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to get banged up. I mean, I don't mean wrecked or nothing. I just mean it's going to get the shit vibrated out of it. And they automatically came down to the $4,500 and told my son this is a gift. So $4,500 for a Scion, a 2012 with that everything works on it, everything. And we have not done anything to that car mechanically. It's the AC's perfect. I mean, cold as ice. The heater's perfect. It'll run you out of the car. Anybody that's been in it will tell you that. So that's why I chose that car. Number one, it's cheap. Number one, it's a square body inside. Makes it easier to put a system in. Number two, the cab is small. Now, me and Miller are big guys, man. Miller's actually taller than me now by about an inch. So, and he's 16. I wasn't his size at 16. I'm a pretty good sized fella. He's going to be a monster. I'll say Miller's going to be 6. I'd say 6'6", 6'7", all day long. Maybe bigger than that if he grew like I did, because I grew out of school. I graduated at 17, and man, when I got out of school, I was 5'11". Yeah, a little old scrimp. But and that's not small. That's just not tall. If you're over 6 feet, that's tall. I mean, the way, just average. But anyway, I've been putting out posts about it. It doesn't take a lot of money to get loud and do what you want to do if you pick the right vehicle. Guys, some of the loudest vehicles I've ever heard were CRXs. And I'm talking 1 and 2 speakers in them. And it's about cab size, how the cab is built, what your enclosure is, what amps you run, what subs you run, how it's tuned, if it's got plenty of power. A lot of times the weak point in the smaller cars is the electrical, the alternators. It's hard to put 2 alternators on some of these smaller cars the way they're built. If you can get a small car with 2 alternators on it and run good voltage to your battery banks, guys, I don't understand at all. I do get this part. Cone area is king. Yeah, that's true. But that also means cone area don't mean diddly shit when you put it in something 14 times the size of another vehicle with cone area equivalent to the size of the car. I hope this makes sense. So if you put 118 in a sealed up golf cart, and you put an enclosure in there and some good power on it, it's going to run you slap the fuck out of a golf cart. Now you put 118 in a CRX, it'll do the same thing. You put 118 in a damn Suburban, it's not going to be that impressive. It'll be decent, but not as impressive. Single sub scrub run 118 for the longest time. It's impressive. I mean, it really is but the reason it's impressive, he has a huge box in the back, a lot of power. He's clipping the piss out of it. He knows that. And he's running it in a cab that's tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Them Toyotas are known to have no leg room. You're all up in the damn dash on them. Also, if you ever notice, these cars that seem to be windier than others is because the port is above the window or equal with the window line. That means it doesn't have to go down and up. The air comes straight out off the window, straight out to the side. That's how it works. People want to know when your window busts, why it loses pressure. That's because that's where the air's headed, straight to that window. On these cars where we'll just use Jerry's truck for an example. Look at Jerry's Jangalang. Look how high the port is based off where his windows are. The higher port in that vehicle is making it equal to the window, the bottom of the window. He also, if you notice when Jerry demos and does videos, he takes his body and fills the window up with his body. He's not inside the vehicle. He's against the window. That also seals the window area off and makes that window literally smaller. That's what it does. The way we sit in our car is we sit lower. The way that car is, the seats are low. They sit on, you're basically sitting on the ground. And the port is, it's kind of tall and narrow, if that makes sense. It's not long to get to the edge of the window, so it's not going to be windy as much because of the way the port's built. The port's built in the middle of the car. Now, the closer you get your head to the middle of that car, where that port actually comes out, it's brutal windy. But the problem, and here's the deal, we never wanted to make the car windy. We wanted to have a little bit of wind, just a little bit, but we wanted to play music. That car will play 20 hertz all the way in the 50s, and with authority. Absolutely, with authority on anything you play it on. It'll play with both doors wide open. And if anybody knows about Scion doors, they don't just open a little bit. They don't have hinges. They have just a little deal. Well, when I say a hinge, it doesn't have a spring. It just goes all the way open, almost completely flat. Yeah, like it'd bang other people's car doors if you don't watch it. So those doors open completely wide open, which allows that whole area to be open. You would think, man, it's going to take away a ton of cone control. No, not really. It does better with the doors open. So, and that's on what it's on now, the power that it's on now. Guys, it might be running 7,000 watts, really. Because we're running the amps at 2 ohms mono. It might be making 7,000 watts. I've been asked many times, what kind of power is that? What kind of power is that? Well, at 2 ohms, those amps are not made. I mean, they're made for 2 ohms. They're just not made to make power at 2 ohms. They're made to make power at 1 ohm and half ohm. That's what they were designed to do. They are strictly bass amps. Their frequency response is between 8 hertz and 180. Not 20 and 200, and not 20 and 250. 8 hertz to 180, which is what I was telling Jerry earlier on. I was like, dude, if you want to get low, you need to run the right damn frequency amplifiers, response amplifiers in your vehicle. Now, tuning of the enclosure makes a big difference. I was asked the question, how should I set my amps up, blah, blah, blah. Do I use low pass filter all the way up to 250? Well, that depends on if you have a tuned enclosure. It doesn't do much when you change the amplifier tuning as far as low pass frequency when you have your enclosure tuned. That is your tuning. So you basically want to get all your low pass frequencies all the way up to go through, because it's going to be tuned at whatever you have it tuned to. Your box is the tuning. So, but when you're trying to get lower than what the box is tuned for, just say if it's like 20, I'll tell you what ours is tuned to. It's no secret. It's tuned between 20 and 42. That's what it's tuned to. For me to get it tuned below that number of 20, I would have to do something with the low pass filter. Yeah, and I'm going to get a lot of grief for this, but I've done this testing. I can literally change the low pass frequency and bring it down to that 8 hertz marker, and it will hit lower below 20 hertz. Because it's changing the actual tuning of the box. The box is tuned at 20. I'm going to cut the amps down, turn the bass boost up, and it will play well below 20 hertz. because the amplifiers are fudging the system. That's what it's doing. True story. If you don't believe it, go do your own testing. I test everything. Now, the next thing we're going to do, and I highly recommend everybody do, if you have an enclosure, test your port sizes, test to put roundovers in it, test all kinds of things. What I plan on doing is we're going to board it up, say inch at a time, 3/4 inch at a time. I'm going to board it going up, vertical, and then I'm going to board it in horizontal. I'm going to squeeze the port in the front to see what it does, how it changes the vehicle. Now, if I change that tuning to that box and I still want to get in those lows, then I'm going to change the frequency, the low pass frequency, and get it down lower. That will make up the difference for whatever I lose or gain, either way. So, yeah, your enclosure is tuned. That's your main tuning, but you can fudge that tuning with the amplifier and bass boost. That's what it's for. So, yeah, you can make changes. So we're gonna start tinkering around before we start really basically giving this car to beans. In other words, this car is so weak, y'all. It's unbelievable. When I say weak, it's not weak sitting in it. It'll choke you. You can't breathe. I've choked many people out of this car on YouTube music, not rebase. YouTube non-rebase music. And they can't breathe. You saw the phone the other day. That's me holding it. It's shaking the damn phone, not my body. The phone is shaking. The lens is shaking. The camera can't handle the vibration. So what I'm trying to tell you is you don't have to have a Suburban. You don't have to have a Tahoe. Look, I love the big builds, man. It looks cool as hell watching all them speakers move. I like seeing all those amplifiers. They look beautiful laid in there. And some of these people can really make these builds look spectacular. But it's not necessary. If you're on a budget, buy a smaller vehicle. Make sure that you can put at least 2 alternators, not 1. 2. I recommend JS alternator. That's who I'm going to recommend. Why do I recommend them? Because they stick behind their product. They get the product to you quickly. Their turnaround is spectacular if you need to. I've only had to turn something around because we changed the how it was regulated internally versus externally. I've not had any problems with any JS alternators that I own. I got 4. Okay? 4. No problems. None. 0. Pick what you want to pick. I'm not going to be on here about brand bashing, brand wars. I'm telling you my experience. Okay? My experience with JS has been perfect. We are Team JS. We are sponsored by JS. It is a great company. Everybody down there, they're awesome people. Never rude, nothing. They'll give you their seat at the show, for God's sakes. These people will hand you a water. They're good people. That's who I deal with. The reason we chose Fi this year, we searched around. I reached out and ordered a sub from Fi. Fi reached out back to me just from ordering 1 sub. It's like, hey, wait a minute. What you getting ready to do with this thing? They knew who we were. I told him what I was going to do. I'm not going to say who it is. I've got his personal phone number. He called me on his personal phone number. We've had many conversations. At the end of the day, I said, well, he asked me, he said, are you worried about height? How do you mount your subs? And I said, we're mounting them inverted, but it don't matter. I can do it either way. He said, so you're not worried about the depth of the sub? And I said, no, sir, I'm good to go. He said, I tell you what, man, we're going to send you something cool. Now, I didn't ask specs. I didn't ask any damn thing. I just said, okay, we made a deal. I'll just put it that way. We made a deal. A hell of a deal for me. And they did exactly what they said they were going to do. There was no delays. You'll see that it usually takes 2 weeks for a sub to be built. Guys, they were here in a week. Packaged up beautifully, crated up, nothing tore up, no bullshit worrying about shipping. Everything showed up exactly the way it would, exactly the way I ordered them. I ordered one, and then about 2 hours later, I ordered 2 more. They came in one day, the next day, the other 2 came in. All signed, which was unexpected, by the owner, and anybody that touched that speaker signed it. And then I got goons going, anybody can get that. No, dumbass, you're wrong, because I've talked to the freaking person that sold the shit to me. I said, are you sure this is the only ones? He said, Nolan, I hadn't even seen them. This is it. It's the first set. It is. So I'm sticking with Fi, man, because I can reach out to any of these companies like I reached out to Harmony Audio. Harmony Audio, which is Hi-Fi Sound Connection, I called Hi-Fi Sound Connection. Hey, do y'all want to do some kind of deal? No, we don't do that. Okay, well, fuck you then. If you don't want to help out at all, I'm not going to promote your product. I'll prove that it could do good, but I'm not going to tell everybody how we make it do good. It takes some knowledge behind the scene to make it good. Are they good subs? Would I recommend them? Absolutely. But I'm not going to promote them at shows. I'm not going to say, man, I would definitely go out and buy this right here, right now. Will I tell some stuff on YouTube? Sure. But it's not just the sub that makes the difference. It's how you do it. How you install it. Do you know what you're doing? Is the enclosure right? The enclosure in that car, there was no other testing than here it is. It's in there. Is it spot on? It might be damn dead on. I don't know. None of us know because we didn't tinker with it. We didn't try to make any changes. Right now, am I happy with it? That ain't even a word. Hell yeah, I'm happy with it. It does great. Can there be improvements? I don't know. I'm going to find out. So, always do some testing. That's where I do like what Single Sub Scrub does. He does do testing by changing just the subs. He explains that in his videos. I'm going to change just the subs, nothing else, to see what they do. Here's the bad thing about that, though. If he's kind of fighting a double-edged sword. If he doesn't change his enclosure size and just test the subs only, he's only proven what subs are doing good in that enclosure size. Okay? What if he makes a change to the enclosure? Maybe it would have done better with a Dreamsicle. Maybe it would have done better with a Sundown sub. It might have done better with a Fi sub. It might have done better with something different. Because then you've changed the tuning of the enclosure. So I do understand his testing part by changing out the subs. But if you change your enclosure, you change the whole situation. You have to then go back and go, well, damn, that other sub might have done better. Now, if you keep all the subs, that's different, and then you can go change the subs back to another one and test from there. So testing is important, but you have to have a goal what you're trying to do. Are you going to leave your enclosure the same? Then yeah, change the subs. Are you going to change the enclosure after you find the perfect sub for that certain enclosure? Then you defeated the purpose of changing the subwoofers. Guys, I'm not trying to be no know-it-all here. I don't know it all. I'm just trying to tell you how you properly test equipment. And amplifiers do matter. I have the Q-Bomb box that I said was a turd with everything I've ever put on it. And it was. I put Class A B amps on it and it sounds killer. If I put a Class D amp on that damn thing, it doesn't sound good. Plain and simple. Testing it here at Car Audio Laboratories. Put it in the car, it might change sound. Then I'll change it back to a Class D if we need to. But I'm thinking going Class AB on this box. It performs better with a weaker, supposedly weaker Class AB amplifier than it does with a... Listen, people, I've got a 3K Surge hooked up to them damn subwoofers at 2 ohms. And go look at Big Dummy's damn Laboratories video on that 3000 Surge at 2 ohms. Right now, I've got a Rock Turd PL 3000.1, which is supposed to be a 300 watt amp. It's got a 40 amp fuse. I'm going to say it does more than 400. Okay, that amp will beat that Surge in that box all day. It's not even close. And I can tell that by sitting in front of it. I don't need a meter to tell me the difference. My ears tell me the difference. My body tells me the difference. Other people hear it, it sounds different. That's why you've got to test thoroughly. And then when you put it in the car, if it doesn't reach the same sound that you have it in the home, make changes in the car. Use bass boost if you have to. Use your crossover if you have to. That's why they're there. I'll get into some more details on some things we're planning on doing, but I wanted to show you that car. We do what we say we're going to do. We will respond to the people that I bought it from. I told them I would show them the videos. They love it. They think it's killer. I've had several conversations with them and only met them people one time. So you guys take care. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. We plan on doing some changes in the car pretty soon. I don't know if it's going to be changing subs first or amps first. I kind of want to see what these Harmony Audios will just actually do. I know what the 12s are capable of. I've run them for 4 years. Look, we couldn't tear them up. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. If I did it dumb, can I tear them up? Sure. If I do like Parker does and try to burn them up, that's easy, man. You can burn up anything. But in the enclosure it was in, which was made by Concept Enclosures, I'll put a shout out to that guy. He's from Kentucky. He builds great enclosures. At the end of the day, you can burn up anything, but with those Harmony Audio 12s, monolith 12s, I didn't blow the dust caps off because guess what? It don't have dust caps. You let them subs break in for about a month to a month and a half, and they will be killer subs. I don't know the limits. I put a duck sauce on too. Guys, those amps are strong. Those duck sauce took out 2 Ace Audio 15 Jesters like it wasn't shit. Alright. And now they're giving them damn Sundown X subs all the hell they can take. So at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter. The subs are good subs. I'm not going to promote them anymore. I'm just going to tell you they're good subs for the money. If I was on a budget, I would buy a damn Harmony Audio monolith sub. If you're trying to get over a certain loudness, if you're trying to get pretty damn good loud, that's what I would run. You guys take care and have a good day. I'll talk to you later. See you.